live and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D-Real coming at you with another Be Real with D-Real, where edutainment is what I do. Today we're gonna be talking about the animated movie, The Legion of Superheroes. Now, over at DC, the Legion of Superheroes have been some of my most favorite characters and comic book in general to follow. I like to get more bang for my buck. And I don't think you get more bang for your buck dealing with the Legion of Superheroes. We can do a brief history of the Legion of Superheroes, and then I can give y'all the plot line to this Legion of Superheroes movie, and then I'll tell y'all what I thought about it overall. But first, before we get off into that, I need y'all to do what you always do for me. Comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D-Real page so that when new material comes out, get it. If you're digging with a brother shovel and put some dirt in my bucket, comment, like, subscribe, and share the page. Legion of Superheroes. Let's talk about the Legion of Superheroes, shall we? The Legion of Superheroes debuted all the way back in 1958. Yeah. In Adventure Comics number 247, all the way back. Yep. 1948. Basically, the Legion of Superheroes is precisely what the name implies, a legion of teenage superheroes. They were created by the legendary writer Otto Bender, Captain Marvel fame, anyone? Shazam. And artist Al Plastino. They live in the 30th or 31st century, depending on what iteration it is. But they are I guess the best way to describe them is a federation of superheroes from different planets all over the galaxy. And they basically come together to their, what they refer to as their clubhouse. And they are closely associated with Superboy. And for the longest time, the Legion of Superheroes comic book was, they kind of played second fiddle sidekicks to Superboy in the 70s. And the comic book was even called Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. And what Superboy would do was he would time travel to the future, and he would have adventures with his teenage homies in the Legion of Superheroes. Now, this is a conventional group of the Legion of Superheroes because at any time you could get any gang of superheroes. That first row, left to right, Chameleon Boy, Karate Kid, Mon-El, two of my favorites, Cosmic Boy, rocking that pink outfit, which I guess looks better than the bathing suit outfit. Lightning Lad, not being color swapped, Saturn Girl, Sun Boy, Ultra Boy, Phantom Girl, and on in is Wildfire there. And a lot of these characters have been in and out of the Legion of Superhero lineup, but those three, Pink, Blue, and Pink, Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, and Saturn Girl, are the founding members of the Legion of Superheroes. I don't know how they must have been visionaries, because I don't know how they thought they were going to have a legion with only 3 people on the team. But fortunately for them, it worked out, and they got folks like Colossal Boy, Shrinking Violet, Wildfire, Timberwolf, Invisible Lad, on and on and on and on and on. And of course, Dawnstar back there in the back, which I think was brought into the group for a little bit of diversity, as well as a character named Tyrock, and that y'all have heard me talk about quite a few times. Now, speaking of diversity, that is a perfect segue into the Legion of Superheroes movie. And now enter the Legion of Superheroes animated movie. This movie came out in, I want to say, January or February of this year. And basically, rather than it being or centering around Superboy or Superman, it centers around Supergirl, who is rocking an outfit that is very reminiscent of Melissa Benoist's version of Supergirl with the thigh-high boots, as we can see. But the voice of Supergirl is being voiced by Meg Donnelly in this version, and Harry Shum is Brainiac 5. As we have seen in different iterations across different forms of media, Brainiac 5 and Supergirl have a thing going on. They have this kind of love-hate relationship. And down there in the lower right, you will see Mon-El. He has been made into a bad guy in this version of the Legion of Superheroes. Why you would make Mon-El a bad guy, I understand, because you need somebody who can rival Supergirl in strength. And Mon-El, in case you guys don't know, is a Daxamite. He's from the planet Daxam. And Daxamites are similar to Kryptonians in build, strength, power set, that kind of a thing. But the last time I checked, Mon-El's weakness was not kryptonite, it was lead. So there is a group of, I guess, terrorists who have been around since the 20th century called the Dark Circle. And the Dark Circle is plotting to rewrite all of reality. And they're doing that on two fronts. They're doing that in the 21st century, and they're doing it in the 31st century because it seems to center around Supergirl traversing to the 31st century and hanging out there for a little while. Another thing that trips me out, or I won't say trip me out, but something that is to be observed is the massive color swapping in this movie with characters. If you look here, triplicate girl, duplicate girl, duo damsel, whatever you want to call her. There were three of her. One of them gets killed, and then there's two. That's actually canon. The way it goes down in this particular movie, not necessarily exactly how it went down, but there was some double crossing and some lies being told and some members working for the bad guys. And that's kind of similar to what went on in the movie. Duo Damsel is color swapped. As you can see from here, she is very clearly an African-American woman. Also, other characters who have been color swapped are Lightning Lad, but Lightning Lad was already color swapped, I think, a few years ago when they restarted the Legion of Superheroes comic book. They made Lightning Lad an African-American male. And there are a few other characters like Invisible Kid. Invisible Kid is black. Originally, Invisible Kid was not black. I don't know. It bugs me because, I mean, are they doing it so that we won't say, oh, yeah, it's a Caucasian fest in the 31st century? Or are they saying it because they want us to see, okay, we're all inclusive? And I'm still on the fence about that. I don't know why. It should feel not so forced. You know, and when I looked at Legion of Superheroes and I seen all of the color swapping going on, it's just like, man, they don't care. They do not care. Marvel, DC, they don't care what we say to them. Ultimately, they are just like, we're going to keep color swapping people. Bruh, it's the 31st century. I would think concepts like racism and colorism and things of that nature, we would be past after 1,000 years. But I mean, you know, maybe not. or we are plastering our own thought processes of colorism and racism on every other planet in the universe, according to DC. So everybody in the universe is going to think like we think. You know, somebody like Chameleon Boy from the planet Durla, who can literally shapeshift, which I assume includes color shift, into any body or anything he wants to. Why would a concept like color or race matter when you got characters like Chameleon Boy? I don't know. Anyway, as it turns out, the movie it centers around the love-hate relationship between Brainiac and Supergirl, and eventually, you know, they become rivals, and then they become sort of like an item, you know, and it works. I remember in Justice League Unlimited, they had the same kind of dynamic going on, and Supergirl was like, "Ooh, who's that incredibly cute boy?" You know, and yeah, it works. It works. They did a lot of shout outs to things in the Legion of Superheroes universe. One of the things I would have liked to have seen shouted out in the Legion of Superheroes universe in this movie would have been the Fatal Five. I would have loved to have seen the Fatal Five in this movie, but I understand it was a different plot line, and the Fatal Five didn't figure into it. Same thing with Val Armour, aka the Karate Kid. I would have loved to see the Karate Kid. Karate Kid is one of my most favorite members of the Legion of Superheroes, along with Mon-El, whom they villainized. And I just I was so pissed about that. I really didn't want him to be a bad guy. You know, I would have been cooler with it if Brainiac 5 would have been a bad guy, you know, because it's like, okay, he got the history, but then that's what we expect. So we don't get that. Overall, Legion of Superheroes for me, meh. I know y'all hear that a lot when I review stuff, but it's just there are things that I like. I promise. There are things that I like. I didn't hate Legion of Superheroes. Again, didn't like it either. I liked less stuff in Legion of Superheroes than I liked. It could have been a much, 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 much better movie if they had taken a little time. I mean, this was months and years, excuse me, in the making. And that's what for years of planning, this is what y'all came up with. We need a live action Legion of Superheroes movie. Period. Point blank. The animated iteration of Legion of Superheroes in Justice League Unlimited, I enjoyed that. The Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes animated series, I think that ran from like 06 to 08. That was a pretty interesting and well put together. Well, not well put together, but it is a little more interesting than this movie I watched. I would have much rather have seen something along the lines of like what they did with Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes TV show and that episode of Justice League Unlimited, where literally what went down in that movie was kind of similar. It was a Supergirl coming of age kind of thing too. And we get to see her pre-Krypton blowing up, interacting with Allura, her mom, which I thought was cool too. That was one of the things I was like, okay, I see what they're doing, you know. But overall, here's the face that I give this movie. Yeah, y'all, that's it. That's the face that Legion of Superheroes gets from me, because that's what it gave to me. That's the only energy I could give back. Oh, flat out. Have y'all seen the Legion of Superheroes yet? If you have, what do you think about it? If you haven't, go watch it and tell me what you think about it. Drop it in the comments. That's it for now. But fret not, I will be coming at you with another one of them other ones. And until I do, yeah, y'all be good. Be good to each other.